Okay, today we are starting a new unit, and it's all about expressions. And today we're going to spend time evaluating expressions that are somewhat more complicated. They involve multiple operations, and we're going to figure out the correct order in which to evaluate these expressions. So let's start by reviewing the do now, and then we will get started learning about this new information. All right, let's take a quick look at 1 and 2. So on the surface, they look like different problems, but when you evaluate them, the actual answer for both of them is 17. So we're going to learn the correct order in which to do these, and just a little preview of that is that you always do multiplication before addition. So you don't do 5 plus 3 is 8 and then multiply by 4. You always do the multiplication first and then the addition. Here the order is a little more straightforward, but again the multiplication comes first. That's 12, and then plus 5 is 17. So the numbers in the operations are in different orders, but the answers to these two problems are the same. So let's keep that in the back of your mind, and we'll come back to it. For 3 and 4, again, these problems look kind of similar, but they're different. And again, there's a specific order to which we do problems, and you always do exponents first. And again, we're going to talk about this in a little bit. So this is going to be 1 plus 9 to give you 10. And in here, we always do the parentheses first. So we have to add the 1 plus the 3, which is 4, and then square that to get us 16. So the parentheses makes a big difference between these two problems and how you evaluate them. And this order is what we're going to learn about today. So go ahead and turn to the next page. And we're going to write a big P in there too, because that's how we're going to remember this. So got a big capital P. The next thing that comes in line is exponents. Okay, so we know that anything in the form of this gets evaluated next. Okay, so let's write the symbol and write the word. And let's put a big capital E in here as well. And then the next operation is multiplication and division. And they occur kind of simultaneously. Doesn't matter, multiplication doesn't always come before division, and division doesn't always become before multiplication. It depends on the order that they are in the problem. So first of all, let's write those two in these boxes like this. And here's the key thing. Whenever you have multiplication and division together, you perform them from left to right. So I'm going to write a big arrow here to indicate the direction that you do those operations. And we're going to see plenty of examples of this. And then the final operations that you do, the final order, is addition and subtraction. So let's put those in these last boxes. Oh, I forgot to put the capital M and the capital D for division. All right, and then we're going to have a plus and a minus, and I'm going to put the words in there as well. And we're going to write a big capital A in this box. Oh my gosh, I keep not using the pen tool. So we're going to have a big A here and an S here. All right, so that's the order. Parentheses, exponents, then multiplication and division from left to right, and addition and subtraction, and I should say that also goes from left to right. Okay, so please put these arrows in because that's very important that you do those in the right order. All right, so let's look at a bunch of examples of this so you can get the idea of what we're talking about here. All right, you can turn to the next page, please. Okay, so we're going to look at a couple of examples, but before we do that, I'm going to show you one way to possibly remember this order of operations, and this is a technique that's been used with students for many, many, many years. But these letters can form a sentence, and this is called a mnemonic when you use words to go with each letter. And for order of operations, for many years we've always used please, excuse, my dear Aunt Sally. That didn't work so well. Let's see, I can't quite get that in that last corner. Let's see, let's go back a little bit. I'm going to write here, Sally, like that. Okay, so please excuse my dear Aunt Sally is another way of just helping you remember what the order of operations are. Okay, so let's take a look at a couple of examples. So take a look at these two. Notice that they're different, right? One has parentheses, one does not. So that has a big impact on the order that you do things. So the one practice I want us to get into is always underlying the first step. So for this first example, We have multiplication and addition. So we know from our order that multiplication comes first. So I'm going to underline that. And then I'm going to evaluate that. So, of course, 2 times 5 is 10. And then we add the plus 3, and you get a final answer of 13. Now, the second one is different. We have to do the parentheses first. So I'm going to underline that and evaluate that. So this now becomes 2 times 8, and then that final answer is 16. So you can see the difference that the order of operation makes in a particular problem. All right, let's take a look at the next example. So here we have addition and an exponent. So of course the exponent comes before addition, so we're going to do that first. And that gives us 9. And then we're going to do the 4 plus 9. And our final answer is 13. All right, next example. We have subtraction, we have multiplication, we have addition. So we have to do the multiplication first. So I'm going to underline that and evaluate it. And now we have 7 minus 6 plus 11. And again, we're going to go from left to right because we only have addition and subtraction left. So we know that we go from left to right when we're in that situation. So that's going to give us 7 minus 6 is 1 plus 11. And then my final answer is 12. And then the last example, we have here, let's see, we have addition and division. So we know division comes before addition. So we're going to do that first. So I'm going to underline that. 80 divided by 8 is 10. So now I have 2 plus 10, and that makes my final answer as 12. All right, so there's a few examples to give you an idea of how this all works. And turn to the next page. I'm going to give you a chance to do some problems on your own. Okay, here are some problems. I'd like you to work on all 6 of these. Again, underline the first step, and then show each step along the way, and pause the video, and come back and check your answers and see how you did. All right, check out these answers and see how you did. Again, I underlined the first step of each one and showed each step along the way. So if you got any of these wrong, go back and check to see if you can figure out where you might have gone wrong. After you've done that, go ahead and turn to the next page, please. Here are a few more problems that are a little bit more complicated, so go ahead and pause the video and work on these, and then come back and check your answers. All right, check out these answers. These weren't too bad, except for maybe number 5. There's a lot going on number 5. So notice I did the parentheses first, then I did the exponents, and then I did this multiplication, and I did this division, and then last I can do the subtraction to get 57. So I should have circled those answers, actually. I'm going to do that now. Again, that's a good practice to get into because there's lots of numbers going on in these problems, so you want to make sure that you know and I know what your final answer is. All right, go ahead and turn to the next page, please. All right, these are the 2 problems that I want you to turn in for the video assessment. So if you're watching this video in class, I'll give you the piece of paper with these 2 problems on it, and these are the ones I want you to work on. But actually, don't do these just yet. There's a target assessment on the next page. I want you to do that first, and then come back and do these two challenge problems. So go ahead and turn to the next page. So here's a couple of straightforward problems. Here's the problem. The first step, I just want you to write the first piece that you're going to do first, and then give me the final answer in this box, again, showing some of the steps. So go ahead and pause the video, do these two problems, and then come back and check your answers. All right, check out these answers, and if you got something different, see if you can figure out where you made your mistake. If you're doing this in class, again, go back and do those challenge problems and turn those in when you're done, and if you finish all of that, you can get started on the homework for tonight. Let me know if you have any questions.